I'm Peter Towers, Managing Director of ESS BIZTOOLS. Welcome to this introductory webinar on ESS BIZTOOLS on CCH iFirm. In this video, we're going to look at the introduction modules for business advisory services. Business advisory services are a very important platform for accountancy businesses that wish to diversify away from compliance products. Not completely diversify. In fact, taxation and other compliance products will still be in excess of 50% of the fee base for the vast majority of accountancy businesses. But when you look at the forecast impacts of standard business reporting, added competition, compliance becoming more of a commodity product, competition from overseas, then there are many reasons for accountants to be a little bit apprehensive about the future. And hopefully accountants will seriously look at business advisory services as being a range of products that can be introduced by the average accountancy business, so that the accountancy business can proactively offer a wider range of commercial services for their small, medium enterprise clients. Most small businesses have been asking for a wider range of services to be offered to them for quite some time. Indeed, the CCH survey of a couple of years ago identified a significant range of services that small, medium enterprises were seeking from someone. And if accountants don't offer those services, then other people will try to do so. So we have developed the introduction modules to assist an accountancy business to get ready to offer business advisory services. And what I'm showing you on the screen now are the module names for the modules that are contained within the business advisory services introduction modules. Our suggestion is that the firm should appoint a facilitator who can be a partner, a senior manager, or an external consultant who will organize this training process over about a 3-month period by having the team meet on a weekly basis for 2 hours to prepare the firm to get ready. So let's just look at some of the material. The first 3 items, introduction to business advisory services, getting organized, and offering business advisory services, are about the preparation phase of getting the partners, the accounting team, marketing personnel if they have any, the administration people, and the clients involved in this whole process of developing some new products. And then we move into getting everyone ready. The first one is team training, preparing the accountants to offer this service. A lot of partners will tell you that they're too busy to get involved in this process. And whether they are or not is probably debatable, but I think their role in business advisory services is to act as the mentors, the coaches for the accountants within their firm that are going to deliver the vast majority of this product and be the rainmakers with their clients. I don't envisage that the partners themselves are having to get heavily involved, except in a couple of the products which would require them to be acting in a finance director type capacity. So it's very important that the accountants and marketing people employed by the accountancy business are the ones who are trained to offer this virtual chief financial officer service to their clients. Leadership is very important because we envisage that the accountants firms are going to be utilizing accounting team managers, etc., an appreciation of the leadership role that those people are undertaking and the responsibilities that that brings is very important. Marketing. While survey after survey have indicated that small, medium enterprises are looking for more services, there is no guarantee that the clients are automatically going to turn to their current accountancy business, who for many years have basically been supplying a compliance, taxation-driven accountancy service. So accountants are going to have to convince their clients that they're able to present these new products and services. And we've included material that we believe will assist in that process. Review of products and services. ESS BIZTOOLS contains 15 major products ready for delivery to clients at the completion of the 3 months training. But we don't recommend that firms run out and suddenly start offering 15 new products. Our suggestion is they phase in 3 or 4 at a time, and then again in another 4 to 6 months they bring in another 3 or 4, and so on, so that progressively over a 2-year period they introduce business advisory services to their clients. The SME needs analysis is a vital document in this process because it's virtually a menu of services that the accountants can discuss with their clients to understand what is keeping the client awake at night. What are the products that the client's interested in paying for? We then have a program just to select the products that the accountancy business might elect to offer to the clients. Our recommendation is the best way to launch business advisory services is through the conduct of a series of small seminars. Invite representatives of 10 clients to a small function. Brief them on what's going to be included in the business advisory services products, and then offer the services to them. We don't recommend inviting 100 clients. Most firms might struggle to have 100 A-class clients because that's the other precondition that we would like to suggest, is that firms only invite their A-class clients. And we've got some material within the system which will assist in the identification of an A-class client. Selling business advisory services goes hand in hand with the marketing module that I referred to earlier. Accountants are going to have to learn how to professionally sell their products and services. For many years, accountants have been able to rely on the annual tax return as the attraction that brought their clients back to them. But that link is failing a little. It's weakening as clients realize that they can buy professional services from other sources. So we have some suggestions as to how accountants might professionally sell these new range of services to their clients and to prospects. And then we have the key linkage from the training to the real world. Our recommendation is that the clients after the seminar then have a one-on-one meeting with their client to sit down and find out what their client is interested in discussing. And this would be after the accountant has forwarded the client the SME needs analysis so that the client hopefully turns up with brain in gear, with some enthusiasm as to the sort of new products and services that they're looking forward to their accountant being able to supply to them. So that's what's included in the introduction modules, and we might just have a look at a couple of these so you have a better appreciation of what's included. Obviously, you can go onto the site and play with it at any time. Within every module, we have a control form, which we call a procedure control form, which will guide a user through the process. A subscriber to ESS BIZTOOLS will be able to badge this internal document a little more official if it has the firm's logo and firm name and address placed on it. So this is a guide to taking a firm through. We have various links to papers and to other forms. So what I'm going to do is to go back into that document, and I'm going to download it. And we're going to go through it now and identify some of the services we might want to read. So we might want to read the BAS, and BAS stands for Business Advisory Services, not the other BAS, whereby we can look at some of these forms. So we're going to look at the vision for the future of accountancy businesses. So here's a form which again the firm can badge if they wish with their name, logo, contact details, etc. And they can use this as a guide for them to review the services that they're currently providing. And then we start moving into what would generally be known as business advisory services, so that the accountancy business can identify what it's already supplying in this area and what might be the new products and services that it might like to provide. And obviously this document can be edited and typed within so that the firm's able to record their thoughts. There's a whole range of papers here that they can click onto to read. Documents on fixed price agreements. If they wish to obtain any of these papers, it's just a matter of clicking on, opening the content, and here's the paper, which again can be badged by a subscriber. And this is a commentary on fixed price agreements that are starting slowly but slowly to be utilised by more accountancy firms. I'd like to see the vast majority. Business advisory services is a great area to be introducing fixed price agreements because they're very appropriate to be used in some of these services. So there's a paper that they can read, and this paper is in format the same as every other paper within ESS BIZTOOLS, and there's over 600 of those. If we go back to the main menu now, we can continue to go through to look at some of the other items. We have a team member survey questionnaire. Which is a form that's been prepared to assist the firm to get feedback from their team members as to what they perceive of this new challenge in offering business advisory services to clients. They might like to look at the partner evaluation form. Not all partners are as open in their communication as what they probably should be. So this document might encourage some of them to express an opinion, primarily the type of work they want to do. Do they want to be involved in business advisory services? Preferably, as I said earlier, as a mentor, coach, and rainmaker. But there's a form there to assist them in that process. There's a form there to assist with client questionnaires. We don't suggest that the firm actually gives this form to the clients, but what we do suggest is another partner interviews the client and then fills the form in later on what the clients had to say. It's very important, I believe, to get feedback from clients so that the firm's own clients can be quoted to the team as they prepare themselves to offer business advisory services or in that preparation process. In my experience, having conducted numerous surveys such as this with firms that are contemplating going into business advisory services, when you interview the clients, one of the most common comments that you will receive is the clients will say, now tell them that we now know they can do this, and I've been wanting them to do something like this for years, so they now better do it. In other words, they've been put on notice. So that's the format for the process for looking at an introduction to business advisory services. We might just now have a quick look at use of the SME needs analysis. This is a document which would take you through a range of forms which would assist in identifying services to be performed. So I'm going to pick on BAS 017. There is a procedure control form. I've just gone ahead. You now know how that operates. It's there. So this is a form that, again, the firm would badge with their logo and name and username, because this is actually going to get sent out to clients. So the form, first of all, looks at current business performance. How's the business? How's it going? But what it's trying to do is to provoke some feedback from the client. There's a question there about benchmarking. And I think quite a few clients may well say, what's that mean? I've never been benchmarked. What about their key performance indicators? Are they receiving key performance indicators? I conducted a mentoring session on behalf of a federal government department for small businesses with turnovers of around $4 million recently, and a couple of them put up their hands that they didn't really understand key performance indicators. The 8 firms that were there also told me that they'd never been benchmarked. I don't know what accountants are doing in some of these areas. And the other area that I find very interesting is when you ask an SME, and I did that day, and 3 of them knew what their debtors days outstanding were, the other 5 didn't. They were all companies with turnovers of between $4 and $10 million. Didn't know their debtors days outstanding. So we did a couple of calculations for a few of them and found they were in the vicinity of 61, 45, 72 days. Quite disastrous, 61 and 72 days. So perhaps having debtors days outstanding there as a question might provoke the client to say, well, what's that mean? What are mine? What a great opening for a debtors management review assignment. And yes, we have a debtors management review system within the products, within business advisory services. Are they looking for more information on budgets? Are they on top of the Fair Work Australia requirements? Many businesses are not. And perhaps the accountant should be referring them to a HR consultant who can help them. What about government grants? Obviously, part of our product suite is ESS BizGrants. We developed that because we were getting feedback that many SMEs were rather disappointed at their trusted advisors for not keeping them aware of government grants. So perhaps this question will provoke some comments from the client. Well, we didn't know anything about government grants, and we see one of our competitors has got one. And the Personal Property Securities Register, which I believe is quicksand legislation waiting to trap SMEs or indeed larger businesses through complete unawareness of how this horrendous legislation operates. How this legislation was introduced into Australia without appropriate training for the business community, I have no idea. But according to various experts, in excess of $40 million has already been lost by Australian businesses through this legislation. How? Because the businesses didn't know they had to register an asset that they had paid for, or they are liable to repay monies borrowed from a bank or finance organisation. They didn't know that they had to register it on a government register to protect themselves. How sad. I'm told by people in the liquidation industry and finance monitoring industries that the number of liquidators' preferential payment demands are increasing quite significantly. And this is where the liquidators are claiming that there's been preferential payments. Businesses can protect themselves from these claims by registering on the Personal Property Securities Register. But how many people know about it? I think there's a great service that accountants can offer here that they'll get paid for in undertaking a Personal Property Securities Register due diligence review, at least every 12 months, and in some clients probably every 6 months. So there's some questions there, which I believe, especially if this document has been sent to the client before the meeting, will provoke some questions from the client. Now, that's all just current information, and it's taken us 5 minutes to go through some of the questions. What about taxation planning? It never ceases to amaze me in the surveys conducted by CCH and others that clients indicate that one of the services they're looking for is taxation planning. Yet aren't accountants spending most of their time at present on taxation? Does the fact that clients are stipulating they want taxation planning, meaning that accountants are really not sitting down talking to their clients about planning in their businesses? Future planning, and this is where we start getting into the interesting stuff, the business advisory stuff. Does the client want a business plan? I think every business should have a business plan. Budgets, business valuation, how long since the business was valued? A great service an accountant can offer is to value the business every year to see what the wealth creation has been in the business. Business wanting to expand. We've got some questions then about wealth creation. What about risk management? Are insurance policies appropriate? If there's a buy-sell agreement, is there sufficient insurance? Is there a valid will? What about succession planning in the business? What about the Personal Property Securities Act and the Personal Property Securities Register? And then we go into succession and estate planning and so on. A whole range of areas that require you to look at to ensure that the business is correctly looking at things. We seem to have lost transmission in there. I'll just go back into that area. I don't know what caused that, but I was on use of the SME needs analysis, but we don't need that anymore. We might go to selling business advisory services. Here's the paper which we've prepared on selling business advisory services, which will give a good guide to the types of services that an accountant can sell to their clients. paper there is referring to one of the key things that we discuss in the training, and that is champions should be developed within the firms, champions in individual products, whether it's budgets, cash flows, personal property securities, registered debtors management, and then champions in industries. Many firms don't seem to clearly understand which industries produce the bulk of their fees. So that's one of the first things that as a consultant I do when I talk to an accountancy business. Which industries do you get your fees from? And then the second question is, who is your internal expert in these 5, 6, 7 major industries that in most cases generate around 80% of the fees in an accountancy business? Who's your retail expert? Who's your medical expert? Who's your steel fabrication business expert? Your building expert? And so on. And it doesn't take that much work for an accountant to become an accepted expert in an industry. So we see this as part of the process of being able to have a discussion with clients about more than the profit and loss account. And that's a comment that I've got from a number of small businesses when I've been talking to them on the services that they're looking for. They're looking for accountants who understand their businesses and can talk to them on key performance indicators, who can drill down into the financial accounts, who can help them identify cost reduction programs. And indeed, in the CCH survey of a couple of years ago, I was surprised at the time when SMEs identified cost management as being the biggest single issue that was concerning them. How many accountants are offering that service to their clients to help them with cost management? And that is basically an overview of what's included in the system on Introduction to Business Advisory Services. We'll just refresh the screen and bring back the headings once again for you. So I've quickly looked at introduction areas, spoken about some of the team training, mentioned marketing and leadership, shown you the SME needs analysis, talked about some of the selling strategies that firms might utilize. This is the key foundation segment of ESS BIZTOOLS on CCH iFirm to assist accountancy businesses to get ready to deliver outstanding business advisory services. If you have any questions or comments on any part of the material included in the introduction modules for business advisory services, please don't hesitate to contact us, peter@essbiztools.com.au. Thanks for participating in this webinar. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.